Good evening, everybody. This is Samantha Paisley. I'm calling from Finksburg, Maryland, and we are so happy and excited to have you guys joining us this evening. It's going to be such an incredible call, just like the other two, and I have to tell you, I have personally listened to both of those calls so many times, just whether I've been in the car or wanted to, just hear it again in the morning or before bed. Such wonderful, soothing, great calls with some amazing information and vibrations and energy. So thank you again for listening to us. I know tonight, Randina and Cindy and I are all going to speak with you guys about a couple of different things, but I wanted to really start this call by just focusing on something that I know has been brought up, and we all know has been brought up to us in just the last couple of days, and we feel, really called to speak about it a little bit tonight. And it's, just how do we sustain all of the positivity and energy that, we are here sharing with you guys, and all of the words that we're sharing with you. We too have to listen to what we're saying and live our lives and continue to be positive throughout the day and night. So I know me personally, I really truly rely a lot on my soul sisters and breathing and meditation when I feel that it's needed. And, that's very often in my world, and I'll let them speak for themselves as well. But I know for me, there comes times especially where even today alone, I do have to reach out to them and have them kind of help me get centered again and breathe and focus and know why something is happening when it's happening in my life, and just have a better understanding. And no matter what, I think that we're all going to need to be able to have somebody or others to be able to lean on in certain times. And that's one of the best parts about this group that we've really helped, one another form, and we've all come together and created. So, Randina, I want to pass it over to you. I know you have some amazing things that you want to touch on, and you're chomping at the bit because so many great things I know that you are excited to speak about tonight. So I'll go ahead and pass it over to you.
Okay, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, awesome. So thank you, everyone, for showing up here and for taking the time out of your busy schedules to just meet here with us again on this third call. I'm so happy that everybody is here and that I get to be the voice that you hear for, the next 45 minutes at least. So let's everyone do the centering prayer. Everyone who knows me and knows my style, I like to get connected with our hearts and fill the space with love before we go into the journey. So everyone just take a deep breath and feel into your body and just kind of relax in through your nose and out through your mouth. And as you breathe in love. And as you breathe out, exhale all of your day. Anything that occurred before this moment, just let it go. You're here now in this time and space. Breathing in love and breathing out all that you no longer need. And just set your ego and your critical mind to the side, and this just helps for your superconscious to kind of take over your higher self to be able to deliver you messages that you might not have heard that has been trying to be delivered to you. We get really busy, and in a world of 65,000 thoughts, it's really easy to get lost. So let's just set all that to the side and just really ground into today and what we're doing right here and why we are here. And even just imagine that a white light of divine love comes down into your space and just fills you with love and light from the top of your head all the way down through your face, your neck, your shoulders, your chest, your heart, into your power center, your solar plexus, into your sacred sexuality, your feminine creation, and into your roots, down your legs, all the way through your hands, just out into your space, and from your legs down into the center of the earth. And we call upon the Divine Mother to be with us tonight and throughout our life, and the power of the feminine energy to be awakened. Maybe we would just say a short prayer. You're all that is. We thank you from our hearts that we have gathered here today, and everything that we're learning and all the awakenings that we're experiencing in our lives in service to the light, and that we may be an even bigger channel, that we may give ourselves permission to set ourselves aside and light up the world for the purpose of expansion and growth and beauty and love for all of humanity. That we may choose to be in service to the light in our day-to-day moments, in our thought-by-thought experiences. That we remember the divinity that we are and the divinity that we are here to share. And may this be reflected in our lives. And we thank you, and we say these things in the name of love. Amen. And just feel the love, and it's surrounding you, surrounding all of us in this bubble of love and light and safe space that we're all in. All darkness and density, we command to be cast outside, cast away. And we call upon all ascended masters, all light workers, all angels. I love working with Archangel Michael, that energetic frequency of power. You can call that in. Archangel Raphael is the archangel for healing and love. We'll call that in also. Archangel Jophiel is the archangel for beauty and beautiful thoughts, so we'll also call that in. And you can call in any other energy that you would like to bring into the space. We call in our guides, that we receive the messages that are for us, and that we know in our hearts that it is our destiny to be in alignment with our soul. Okay, so tonight's call is about sustaining success, and I want to start with what it takes to actually do that. The first thing is to have a dream and a vision, and the funny thing is you won't even realize it, but when you have dreams and visions from your heart, it is actually being given to you from your higher self. That is why you dream it. You are never given a dream or a vision that you do not have the capability to bring to life. There is no creator in any time and space that would give somebody a dream or a vision and not give them what they need. That would be the same as being given a job and not the skills to complete that job. So when you have a dream or a vision, it is already created. You have to just call it into being. And the way that you do that is you must believe that you can have it. You must know that you're worthy of it. And you must know that you are supported by all that is in order to keep it. And the beautiful thing about this is the only thing that's stopping you is your belief systems. And even that's an illusion because you have the power to transform them. All of the universe and all of your life has been set up in such a way that you have been given the power to choose and the power to create from those choices. You've been given the tools to dismantle those beliefs that are not serving you and replace them with the truth of what is serving you and achieve your dreams. We are in such a time and space where we're so blessed that we have all of these resources to teach us how to do this. And we can choose to either stay in our victimhood and our life experiences and not gain the momentum, or we can choose to use the tools and the blessings and the beautiful hints and signs that have been left behind by the great ones and use those to better our lives. And the amazing thing is when you do this, you're supported by all that is. So it gets really hard when your life and the world has told you the opposite of this and continues to tell you the opposite of this. You know, when we walk around in our day-to-day world, we see other people, and it's very rare that you see somebody who is living in alignment with their absolute soul's truth. Most people in the world are living based off their circumstances in a reactionary mode, which you can see a good majority of the world is not happy. The world will tell you that you can do it when you believe that you can do it. Even if you just begin to believe that you can do it, it begins to tell you you can do it. So the key point is, as within, so without. You have to declare what you want. You have to heal your wounds, what's stopping you. You have to engage the powerful universe to support you, connecting to your higher self and all that is, the divine mother, divine love, your guides, angels, whatever it is for you, whoever it is for you. When you develop that strong, powerful relationship, there's absolutely nothing that can stop you. So I invite you to continue to take the spiritual journey and to connect your real world business to it. You know, your soul's purpose doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to go live on, this grand scale where you're going to be on stages across the world, unless that's your dream and vision for yourself. It could be tuning into your soul's purpose and delivering that day by day into the real world physical business that you have. You have to make it mean something more, something deeper. You know, it really is up to you to up-level your life and to come out of hiding. We spend most of our lives hiding. I spent most of my life hiding. It really wasn't until recently that I started coming out of this experience. You know, you have to be the powerful you that you came here to be and to create your life. It's time to stop playing small, and it really is time to just go for it. You know, it really is. The time is ticking. So I kind of wanted to sum all of everything that we've learned up and all of these, beautiful strategies and what we've taught in our stories through an experience that I had from my life and something that has been just yelling at me, the last louder and louder, like the last few months. But I remember a long time ago when I first heard, this is when I was still in a lot of chaos and strife. I went to a psychic because I love psychics. And I always attract the most amazing ones. So if you want to know of an amazing psychic, just let me know. But it's one of my favorite things to do. On the spiritual journey, I absolutely love it. And one of the things to also remember as a caveat, when you do go to a reader or a healer, always tell them that you want the good news only. Because planting of seeds based off what somebody else's perception is of your energy frequency can do damage to your life. So if you are given the good information that will benefit you, you can then take it and make a change. So it was off topic, but something I wanted to throw in there because I didn't learn that until later. But anyway, I went to a reading, and this woman told me that I was meant to transform the world. And at this point in time, I was not even thinking about that. I was just trying to survive, right? Like in my own world, just trying to feed my children. And so I was like, what the hell? okay, lady. I didn't believe her, and I kind of just dismissed it. But then there was a little part inside of me that knew that she was telling the truth, that it was real, and it was scary. It was like, what do you mean I meant to? I can't even go to the store and look people in the face. Like, there's no way I'm going to be able to get out there. I was so wounded and so scarred and so hurt by life. I have had every traumatic experience that happened to me that you could possibly imagine, which now I know why, because it gives me the ability to help hundreds of people. But at the, during that point in time when I was still in the darkness, it was terrifying. But when I when I look back, I naturally helped everyone. Every single time I would learn something, I would just be so inspired to tell everybody that I met, and everything that I learned to help my life, I would teach, and I was constantly teaching whatever level that I'm at, which is still happening, and that's what happens. As long as you are a few steps ahead, you can teach. You're already doing this naturally. You do it. You help your friends when they call you. You're the one that they come to when they need assistance. Like, you're a natural nurturer to your children or everybody in your life. You have this within you, and you may not see it yet. You may not know yet, but there is a much bigger vision for your life than you are consciously aware of at this point in time. But some part of you knows, because a part of me knew. And from that, I grew out of this. It was like I have a lotus on my back, because that is exactly what my life was, coming out of the darkness and reaching for the light. So fast forward a little bit. And again, I'm like, I know there's something more, because I was living a life where I was feeling stuck. I was playing small. I was hiding. I was experiencing hardship and traumas. I had like a sense of inner discord. There was something missing. And no matter what I did, I just couldn't break free of my patterns. And I'm pretty sure that you are experiencing similar things in your own life. Like, there's just something within you that knows that there has to be something more. There has to be something more fulfilling than what you are experiencing. No matter what it is that you're doing, there is a calling in your heart that is loud if you just look around. So one of the things that I got when I was in meditation was close my business, my bread and butter, because when I started my online coaching journey, I was fresh. I had to learn everything that there was to possibly learn, and there was absolutely no way that I was going to be able to juggle these two businesses as one is growing and the other one is growing, and they're both getting so big, and I'm one woman and I have two children and an entire household to support. So I was starting to feel the inner tension, and I was not feeling fulfilled at all. It was becoming a drain. And so when I was in my meditation and I got the, close your brick and mortar business, you have to awaken the women, again, I was like, what the hell? It was like one of the scariest times of my life, and I didn't know where I was going to turn to. But there was some part of me that wasn't too terrified. There was some part of me that knew that everything was going to be okay. Well, as I made the decision to do it, what I've learned from all of this, and what I want you to take away from this, is to know that when you're living in alignment with what it is that you came here to do, and when you can take the vantage point that the stuff that's coming up in your reality is just, it's what's happening is the universe is presenting it and saying, hey, if this is causing you discord, there's something here that you need to look at. There's some piece of gold within the situation that you need to excavate. And once you do that, and once you realize the truth of it, the situation goes away. So I like to teach my clients to pay attention to their triggers. A lot of people shy away from it because they're already wounded. They've already been wounded, and they're afraid that when that negative thing comes up, that it's going to just take them out. But what I can tell you is the negative things that are happening in your life are a gift to you. And when you can really understand that and realize that you can use it as a piece of coal to excavate the diamond, you start to move through these things a lot quicker. You have to have the tools on how to do it properly, though. I'm going to share that with you at the end of this. But that was the one thing. So what was happening for me is I was getting triggered a lot. Like I was online and, on Facebook, and I'm in these different groups, and there's so many coaches and so many healers and so many other programs, and it was just constantly being thrown in my face. And every time it was triggering me. It started to talk to that little voice inside of me that was like, what you're going to step out into this, and what if you're not supported and you can't support your family and you're crazy for closing your business, even though you're not happy there, you're crazy, and, look at all these people and where's your place? And it was that voice that was just constantly like eating at me to keep me from doing what I was going to do because of that fear base of what will happen. So another thing I want you to know too is a lot of people demonize the ego. I do not want you to do that. The ego is that human part of yourself that is there to protect you from harm. The whole point of coming into human form in the first place was to know that you were a soul in a human body. The soul is supposed to be the one in charge, which is why we're giving intuition and why we're given the intuition to connect to the higher realm so that we know what to do. We have gotten turned around, and our ego has been allowed to grow and take over the soul. You have to let that go and get back to your soul alignment and being truth and going back into. And your soul is that voice that nourishes, that quiets, that soothes that ego part of you that's the small mind. That part of you is just there to help you. It is not meant to be demonized. The second you make your ego a demon, you create an inner war within you. Let that go. Wherever that is, surrender it. Give yourself permission to surrender that now across all time, spaces, and dimensions. Your ego is there to help you. And when you can learn how to work with it, it no longer will be that giant wolf that eats the good wolf. So going back to what I was saying, I knew that part of me was coming up for a reason. Everything always does, but I was ready for it to leave because it was standing in the way of what I really came here to do. So I wrote out my surrender list, and what is everybody always talks about writing out a goal list. What do you want to create? What do you want to dream? What do you want to do this? But you have to surrender something in order for that dream to come into place. It's like you remove the old and replace it with the new. It's one of the things that healers often forget is they go through and they clear out all of the wounding and all the pain and all of that, and they forget to put in what you really want. But in this universe, there is no space. You have to replace it with something else. So my not only, in addition to your goal list, you want to write a surrender list. What are you going to give up? Are you going to give up poverty consciousness? Are you going to give up small-minded thinking? Are you going to give up those bills that keep eating at you? Are you going to give up the fighting with your children? What are you going to surrender in place of what it is that you want to experience? So I wrote that out. I wrote out my surrender list, and one by one, I went through each one, and I worked the divine effect on them, and then I set an intention for what I really wanted, and I burned the paper. Now, I want you to do this at the end. I'm going to give you an exercise, but make sure you burn it safely. The reason that it's so important to burn it is that it is a subconscious demonstration that you are destroying this, that it is no longer going to have any bearing over you or have any more control over your energetic life. Our subconscious learns in metaphors. That's why storytelling is so amazing and teaches us more than any other lecture possibly could, because that's how your subconscious learns. So when you write these things out and you burn it, it's a done deal, and you will see movement in your life. So I wrote them out, and then I went and I took a shower, and I just cried out the residual. And when I was done, I went to sleep peacefully, and I really, really, really felt at peace. Like I knew that the transformation had occurred because it was ready to leave. I mean, judging yourself against other people is another thing that keeps you stuck, that keeps you where you are, that keeps you in your life, and it's also an untruth about who you really are. So the next morning I woke up and I flipped the calendar to the next day, and the quote was, it was something about me being the only one like me, the only one that, in this world. I'll just read it. So it's from the Tut calendar. I highly recommend buying one of these because it has a different quote on it every day. But what it said was, oh, sure, there will be imposters, those who make outlandish claims, and some who are even quite good, but no one ever will be another you. Talk about an advantage. So that was one of the things. And then I opened my email, and I have another email, one of my emails that says, it said, if you just physically pretend on a regular basis, no matter how silly it may seem, that it is yours, that your life has already taken off, and that you've found true happiness, a tipping point will be reached. Stars will be realigned, and new acquaintances will start insisting, I don't know why, but you look really familiar. And Randina, it'll be because their inner eyes already see the legend that you are to become. It's already started, hasn't it? So this was another sign in my reality. And then there was people, telling me, there's something different about you, and I don't know what it is, but I know that, you're destined for something. So the universe was giving me all these signs, and before I would have dismissed them. The only reason why I knew that they were true is because of the work that I had done. So I feel, and then I opened up my pictures to my virtual vision board, and I had screenshotted a picture of an email that I got the day before. It's a different one, talking about giving other people's chills, and that I'm here to wake up this world. So I dismissed it because I still had those beliefs that were taking me out until I cleared them out. And then I had the belief that there is no one like me. There isn't anyone else that's going to deliver this the way that I can. And then I started seeing these things in my reality, and I was believing them, whereas before I wasn't. Ladies, these quotes were all over my house. I wrote out these affirmations when I heard Harv Eker talk about how this principle woke him up. So a friend had called him and told him this very same thing, that there was nobody like him, that there wasn't going to be anybody else that was going to hear his voice the way he had, and the message that he had, and the way he had to deliver it. And so that really impacted him. And when I heard that, it impacted me also. For me, as I began to heal the old wounds, my new world started to emerge. Different things started happening to me. And as you go on this journey and you're doing this, different things will open up and happen for you too. My point is twofold. It isn't to say, oh, I'm so amazing. What I am telling you is that we are all here for greatness. We are all unique. No one can do what we do like we do it. The divine created you for a reason, for a purpose, to live with heart, expressing the unique expression that is you. There is nobody like you. The people that you're going to reach, the people that you relate to, are not going to relate to other healers or other, coaches or other salespeople or other authors or other whatever it is that your profession. You are uniquely you, and the more that you can step into this truth and be in alignment with that, the more your world starts to magically transform. So that's the first principle. The second one is this stuff really works. Affirmations, belief work, healing your wounds. You see it, know it, and get into the flow, and stop hiding like you're just one in the herd. Stop blending into the crowd and stand in your beauty, your love for what you do and what you believe. There is not another you, and the world is crying for you to step into your greatness. We have to do this. We have to. There is no other way around it. I wanted to share a story with you. I was in Trader Joe's earlier, and I was being checked out by this woman who was probably about 43 years old, and she was talking about her children, and I was just looking at her, and I could see and feel the pain in her being. I know when she was a little girl, she did not dream that she was going to be a checker at Trader Joe's. I know that wasn't her dream. Somewhere along the line, she let go of that dream. She let the world tell her it wasn't possible, and she let it go. And now she's a checker. Now, my prayer and my wish for her is that she will wake up, and it does not matter how old you are. The second you wake up, life flows for you, no matter where you are in the world. You cannot let your dreams go. You cannot let your heart be broken, and you can't. That reality, that fate of doing that is horrible, and it's struggle, and it's strife, and it's awful. The reality and the fate of aligning with who you are and what you came here to do is so beautiful and magical that I can't tell you. You just really have to start doing it. Take one foot in front of the other, and things will start aligning for you. So you have to get your brain to be in alignment with your spiritual knowing, with the knowing of the Creator about your birth and your presence in this world. You have to get your human self in alignment with your soul and your heart, which is really, really easy to do. The tools are out there for you to do it. So I know that you feel like there is something more. I know you do. You have to. Every one of us does. I just hope that my prayer for you is that you really hear the call and you listen and you allow your life to just unfold in a beautiful way, the way that it was really meant to. Sometimes we let our excuses stop us. I know that I allowed my previous money situation to dictate what I was going to do in the world. Most people do allow money to dictate their life. You're giving money permission to tell you what you can and can't do. You're allowing money to tell you if you can go on that trip. You're allowing money to tell you if you can buy, that massage, or if you can get your hair done. You're allowing money to control you It was not meant for it to be that way. You have to say no more. Money is supposed to work for you, not control you. And that goes for anyone and anything you've given permission to tell you what you're here to do on this planet. I don't care if it's a husband. I don't care if it's a sibling. I don't care if it's a child. You know what you came here to do, and you will not do it until you step into who you truly are. There's no more hiding. There's no more room for hiding. Okay, so I know that there are other excuses that people, give for themselves. The hiding part is like, who, me? Like me? I'm supposed to do that? Yes, you. Who the fuck else is going to do it? You are the one who is listening, and you are the one who will listen to them. Victimhood stops a lot of people. Fear stops too many people from living their dreams and really stepping into alignment with who they truly are and their soul's agenda and what they came here to do. Fast forward your life 10 years, still in the same struggles. It's a horrible reality. You have to get out of it. The fear of rejection also. Heal your wounds and your false identity, and that won't even be an issue anymore. When you step into the truth of who you really are and what you came here to do, nothing in the world can stop you. When you do this work, it's a real thing. Your life really does magically clear up. You have the entirety of the universe on your side. Expansion and growth is life, and contraction and hiding is death. I mean, I was apprehensive to even tell you this story at first. Like, what will they think? I'm not perfect. But you know what? I'm working on it. And you know what else? I have healed hundreds of women, and guess what? We are all fucked up in one way or another. But at least we're working on it. At least we are the ones asking the questions and praying for solutions. I mean, there are people out there who could care less. So I commend you. The world needs you more than you may realize. Just imagine for a moment if you weren't here. Just for a moment, imagine what the world would be like without you. Especially with the turn of events that we're experiencing with all the fighting and the chaos in the world that's going on right now. If there weren't light beings on this planet, it would self-destruct. Stop playing small. You are not small. So where are you hiding? This shows up as little things. For me, it was not putting my address on my house. I didn't have an address on my house for the longest time. It was working in a studio. It was not looking at other people in the eyes. It was judging myself. It was being angry. And, of course, my relationships and my life were falling apart. The second I decided no more is when everything transformed for me. And the funny thing is, the second that I put the numbers up on my house, it was like, bam, things just started rolling. Little things like that. So just look in your life and make little changes in your life, and it starts to compile and grow upon itself. So the question is, are you ready for it? Are you really ready for your greatness? Or do you want to keep living the same life year after year? Those are like deep questions. And you have to be real with yourself. So that was it. That was my story. That was what I wanted to share with you all. I want to get into the processes, but before I do that, I would love Sam and Cindy to share their stories, and that way we can all learn even more about hiding. So maybe Cindy, do you want to start? Like, what happened for you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely. What's funny is about this whole theme of that was actually on Tuesday, and I posted something, and I think I shared a little bit about this on our call, but after I went through this big, huge breakthrough where it felt like my whole chest was just cracked wide open, and I was crying, and I wasn't devastated. I was just broken open, and it was such a joy, like it was a cleansing, is what it was. And then what I realized, what I did is I took my journal after I experienced this, and I wrote in huge letters. This was even before we started talking about this. I wrote in huge letters, out of hiding. And, because I had spent this past year, kind of living where I didn't want anybody to think less of me with my issues and that kind of thing. I didn't want anybody thinking that, I wasn't able to give an impact because of all the things that, I was facing at the time, my heartbreak. And I realized that I don't need to do that. I don't want to hide, because it was keeping me from breaking open and living where I need to be living in alignment and that kind of thing. And, and I loved when you mentioned, because the word came into my brain and then you said it, is when we're living in discord. Because I was like, I'm going to talk about discord, and then all of a sudden you said it, and I'm like, of course you did. We're always, thinking the same things, and, but, yeah, when you're living in discord, then that's when things don't feel right. That's when your whole body is out of alignment. That's when things feel chaotic. That's when you feel overwhelmed. When you're not living in alignment with where you should be, and I hate using the word should, because I always say don't shit on yourself, but where your soul needs to be, where it is, it's just waiting for you to arrive. It already is happening. It's already going in the direction. It's just waiting for you to arrive and step into it. And that's what I've been doing. Things have been so rapidly. I mean, just in the last couple months, the things I've been going through. And, I remember one time I was sitting in Randina's chair, because, of course, she does my beautiful hair. And thank you. I can say it's beautiful because she does it. And I was sitting in her chair, and we started to really dig a little bit and start to uncover some things. And and I needed to get there. But what was so amazing, and I want to talk about this really quick too, is what was so amazing is the next morning she checked in on me to ask how I was feeling. And I go, well, I got a little bit of a headache, and I've been shitting all day. And she started laughing her head off, and she's like, yes, that's awesome. Well, sure enough, she goes, you're releasing, go take a bath with apple cider vinegar and, scrub your body and just do some detoxing and get all that out. Get it out. You're getting it all out. It's all coming out. And this was emotional baggage that I was releasing, and what was funny is that Sam had a conversation, and we, was able to uncover some stuff too. And I go, well, be careful, I said, pay attention, because you're going to have some physical releases tomorrow. And she goes, oh, I've been shitting all day. And I go, yes, that's exactly it. You're releasing it. And, so the rapid, when you start to get in alignment.
Girls don't talk about poop. You didn't know that?
Yes, we do.
That's one of my favorite signs.
Not poop, we shit.
We shit. I just got it out, and it was, and I can say that frankly because it was such a big deal, that it was an emotional release, and then when things, here's the thing, you got to do your work. Things like what I had to do was I had to do my work. And there were times when I had so much coming at me, and I didn't know which direction or which prayer to have, and which email I should read, or which coach I should listen to, or which YouTube video I should listen to, or how I should meditate at night. And it got overwhelming, and I was like, no. This is all of these things that are coming to me. I just need to relax. I just need to ask for what I need to see right now, and whatever gets presented is what I do. And I started to, really talk to myself about that. And guys, I got to tell you, when you start to do your work, everything just starts to get in alignment. And you keep hearing us say in alignment, but things don't work when you're not in alignment. Your car doesn't work when it's not in alignment. Things don't work when it's off kilter. And when I started to get into alignment, then it was so rapid. Just all of the awakenings and all of the elevations and all of my eyes were brighter, and I was feeling more, and I was looking back on this last year of just the worst heartache that I've ever experienced in my entire life, and I looked back on it being a blessing. I was so grateful for it, because if it didn't happen, if I didn't have that rug ripped out from under me, and listen, guys, if you're on this call, this is your rug. It's time. You guys are brought here for a reason. There's no accidents anywhere. And you guys were brought to listen to Randina and help with the things, because it's time. There's a shift happening. It's time to step away from your story that has kept you bound. It's time to step away from the self-limiting beliefs and the things, the false identities, the garbage that you say to yourself that is really just an echo of somebody else's pain that they put onto you, that you've taken in. And you've got to realize that this is your wake-up call. These calls that we've put together, this is your wake-up call. You are here because it is time to knock that shit out, literally.
Yeah.
And you're here because it's time for you to make that shift. It's time for you to let go of all of the things that have kept you from living your best life. And this is why, you're listening, and you got to just absorb this. And I know that there's a lot of things that we're going to be going into here in a second about continuing this and doing your work. But you got to step into doing this work yourself. Whatever it is, just do this work, because guess what? As soon as things start to make sense, and as soon as every little day it just gets better and easier and more healing. And you know what? You're going to have those days, because when I had my breakthrough open, my chest wide open on Tuesday, then guess what? Wednesday, I felt awful. It was like this, what would you call it, Randina? I felt awful on the next day.
Yeah, it's like also hormone depletion too. You got to make sure that your hormones are balanced, and that's an entirely another call. But it is a side effect, because it's like
so
you
much.
just released everything and there's nothing left. Yeah. It's like, ugh.
Yes, I was confused. I was like off kilter. I was like, what's going on? I had such a great day yesterday. You guys have to understand that when you're going through this transformation that you're having, there's going to be you might have this amazing day, and then the next day you're going to feel just depleted and like, man, I was on such a good track, and what happened? There's a slippery slope, and we're going to talk about that. That doesn't last.
I don't experience that anymore. So when you get to the point where you have cleared most of it, and you don't have to clear 1,000 things, like one trauma, healing one trauma, it undoes thousands of beliefs at one time. This does not have to take a long time. Taking a long time is the old way. It can happen quick.
The old way. The old way was my slippery slope, and I immediately got over that. After that felt like I was feeling horrible. I immersed myself. I did some meditation. I felt that you have to do that self-care, and so there's a lot of that Randine is going to go into, but. It's been an amazing transformation, and once you start to break open, then it's not you're going to find yourself where you might have those moments, you might have those days, but then because you have been living in the light, you have that's where you live. It begins. You let it back in. In that moment, you were feeling yucky. But then because you have been practicing of living in that light, it starts to come back in quicker, and you're able to recover from that. It's not going to go back to the way it was where you're laying in bed for a week or, something like that. There's a big, huge transformation that's going to be happening for you once you start doing your work. So I'm going to toss it back to you.
Okay. Does Sam do you want to share anything?
That was just great. I really would. I'm just excited to hear what you have to say. I mean, for me, my one, I don't know. I mean, my one thing that I think I held back for a really long time was sharing my story as far as being in that financial distress for so long, and my family not knowing about it, and being in foreclosure and getting ready to lose my car, but still having to maintain, being a mom and having, and just like people, the last thing we ever want, and believe me, it's like you don't want to be judgmental, but you also don't want to be judged. And it's like, if somebody were to find out, that we were in foreclosure, and that was the worst feeling, because for me, it went into the newspaper, and that's how my parents found out, because my mom called me. She's like, "Oh, your uncle called, and he said that your address was in," and I'm like, "Oh God!" So now, and it just makes you feel. It was that feeling like, well, cat's out of the bag, so I guess I better tell everybody, But it wasn't even like a fulfilling feeling for me when I told my family, I guess, or when I let it out, because it was where it became the most fulfilling for me ever, and the best release and feeling was, with my current job in life, and it was so amazing to be able to sit there and finally, I was with the company for a year before I even said anything about my true story and where I was when I, joined, etc. And so for me, it was that moment, and it was crazy because here's something that was, pegged to be so negative in my life at that time, ended up literally being one of the most positive things. It probably is, like one of the most positive things that has ever happened to me. I'll never be in that situation again. But you take things for what they are. Here's the thing: like if it's not a life lesson that you're getting from every single negative thing at the moment that has happened, then it's just everything that happens in your life. It's a life lesson, and you have to know that. You just have to know that. And sometimes it takes a minute to sit there and dissect it and figure it out and realize what that lesson actually is. But for me, it took a long time. And for me now, I look at it and I'm like, well, that lesson was bigger than I could have even imagined or spoken at that time. It wasn't about me. It was about everybody else. So my heart, like my just the distress and everything that we were going through, that horrible time in our lives financially, others can relate to, which brought them closer to me and understanding that, wow, if she can do it, I can do it, or anything is possible. So that hardship was something that was probably the most awesome thing that I've ever gone
and
through.
One of the things that stood out to me when you were telling me about this was the actual process that you went under to make that change before anything was even presented to you. It was the not allowing the reality of what is to get in the way. It was you really focusing, and when those thoughts would creep in, you would say, nope, that's not happening. This is what's happening. And holding on to your dreams more than what your current reality was saying, because that is how you do it, no matter what situation that you are in. And I remember when you were telling me that, I was just like, oh my God, yes, that's it. That is it. It's like we look around at our current reality and we judge how that's going to be our future reality too much. Yeah. But you were such a mastermind and no, because you had no other option. And a lot of times we get to the point where we have no other option, where if we step off that tightrope, we die and we take our whole family with us. So
and I remember my husband, I even remember Kenny saying things to me like, why do you seem so calm right now? Why is this why is it when I look at you, you look back at me like this is just okay? And I'm like, and it wasn't that it was okay. I have such comfort in knowing that everything works itself out. Everything works out for the better. It's just a matter of what you take from that situation at that time, and what you put out there and is what you're going to receive. And so if I were to sit there and just dwell and, oh my gosh, what are we going to do, and cry about it and I would have never had time to focus forward. You
it would have got worse.
Practice and focus forward, right? It just wouldn't have worked out. So everything just happened so perfectly. And my story is my story, and I love it so much, and I embrace it so much. I mean, it is me. It's what makes me me, and is, just another solid part of who I am. And now I just love to be able to share it and help others find just comfort in knowing that whatever situation they're in at the moment in their lives, that it's supposed to be the way it is at that time. You know what I mean? They're supposed to be in that situation, but now take a deep breath, dissect it, and figure out what is the reason and why are you there, and let's move forward,
Yes, totally get it. And also to get to a place where the universe no longer has to hit you with a 2x4 until you listen.
Mm-hmm. It'll keep doing it until you get it.
It will. It does. Believe me. Okay, so thank you both for those beautiful stories. I love listening to the stories because it's just so inspiring to hear, anybody really, but mostly for me because I love women so much, a woman go from living in such struggle to changing her life and living in triumph. I mean, that really is what I love. I cannot get enough of that, which is why I love to help women do it, because it's such a blessing. And the karmic experiences from being able to do this for other people are just so much bigger than I ever imagined. So I hope all the same for all of you in whatever way, whether it's paying somebody a compliment in the grocery store or whether it's really working to transform people's lives. It's all those little imprints, they add up and they mean a lot more than you know. So I want to go into the process of how to really just get this working for you. So the first one is to write out your dreams unapologetically. You want to just write out everything that you want to experience. And the fastest and best way to do this is to write out a day in your life, like in the future. So I would do the 3-year day in the life, or even 1-year day in the life, like everything that you do from the day you get up, or from the morning that you wake up until you go to bed. And the reason that this is so beneficial is, again, the subconscious learns by storytelling. But when you're writing out a story, you're putting thought to form, and it becomes real. And when you're in it and you're writing it and you're flowing through it, I call it script writing. It's like you're scripting your life. I cannot tell you how many times I've done this and gone back to old journals and read it, and I have already lived that day. So that is one of the most powerful things that you could do, is script writing. Also, the second thing is to write out what you're surrendering, whatever it is that you want to let go of in your life, whatever you're tired of dealing with, whatever you no longer want to have, that thing that's causing you pain, write it down. And then at the bottom of the page, you're going to want to write a note to the divine of what you would like to be blessed with instead, and then burn the paper. Burn it, right? The next step will be, I know some of you are, hopefully all of you are writing this down, but I did talk a little fast on the first call and what to write, so that's what actually spawned the creation of the empowerment guide. So you will get a guide to this that has all these steps listed in it for you to use. It is also in the group under the Files tab. It's all the information that you need there. Okay, so then the next step to do is to write out an affirmation and post it either on your mirror or in a place where you see it every day, and then watch the magic. Like I said, I had that I am the one and only Randina. There is no one like me. I am the one that they will hear, because I have my specific group of women who relate to me, who will hear from me, who will see my journey, and who will be inspired by me to do what they came here to do. And so writing that and putting that on my house created this whole other world that I couldn't even have seen, and now I'm actually full on living it. So these affirmations do work. So write out an affirmation and post it as though it's already happened, in a way that you feel good about it. You can't write something that you don't believe at all, because if you do, you'll just further ingrain that disbelief. Write something that feels good. So tune into your heart and then write it. And then seriously, if I were you, I would also say it to yourself in the mirror. So I was thinking, okay, so yeah, that's all that you do. One of the things that we were thinking is, I was divinely inspired in my meditation not to leave everybody hanging after this call series is over, because this is the last call of the series. And I decided to talk to Sam and Cindy about, creating a space so that we could either take this work even further or give you something more that you can do. And after that, we got so much feedback asking us to not stop after today. So we're thinking of putting together some kind of program to teach you the process of aligning with your true purpose, of healing your wounds, of creating your life from your heart, in a space where we can walk you through it and keep the momentum and the power of the group flowing strong, so we can really impact the world together. We don't really know what that looks like yet. We haven't really got down the logistics of all of it. It's just a thought right now. But one of the things that I wanted to do is, after this call, I feel like I need to do a separate Q&A call to kind of explain the belief process that I was talking about in the beginning of this call, because I'm going to give you a belief PDF that teaches you how to go through your beliefs and how to eliminate them quickly. And I need to walk you through it so that you can learn exactly how to do it and use it in your life. It's something that I used even when I was in my darkest time, and it really does accelerate your life. Plus, I want to do a Q&A to help anybody who may have anything that they need healing on, or, realignment on, or something that just keeps coming up in your life that you haven't been able to really get a hold of. I would love to be of service and help you. So I think that we're going to plan a separate Q&A call so that I can explain the belief process and then also help a couple of you. That's something that I want to do. I have to see if I didn't tell Sam and Cindy about that yet. That was just something that I was throwing out there. But this is only if your heart calls you to this, and only if you really are ready to step out of the place that you're now living in to a much bigger and brighter life experience. I was hoping that we could do it sometime next week. So I don't know. We'll see what they say. Let me just look at my notes here and see what else I wanted to share. Oh, the manifest a windfall. That was what I was going to do in the last call, but I didn't have time. I think I have about 5 minutes, so it doesn't take 5 minutes. On my YouTube channel, there is a 1.5-minute video, I think, explaining it. I kind of wanted to go in deeper with it, though. So what I do with my clients on teaching them how to manifest a windfall is to write down all the money that you received in the last 30 days. Write every single time that you receive money from your source of income. So whether it was a check, that you received from your place of employment, or a new hire, or a new person that you added to your team, or a client, whatever it is, to just write it down the last 30 days. If you need more, go back even further and really express gratitude and why you're grateful for that. And write that down once a day for 5 days, really tuning into that. Even if you only did it for 1 or 2 days, you'll see that those clients will come back into your life, that you will start manifesting more money, and your whole energy around money begins to change. This is the quickest way to manifest. It's what I do every single time when I need fast cash. So when you're really tuned into the money that you have received and you're grateful for it, it comes back to you again, because you're putting that energy out, and then you will recreate it. So that was the Manifest a Windfall. You can go on my YouTube and watch that if you would like. If we're going to do the Q&A call, we'll put something up in the group to let you know where to call into. And then also, if you want to, being that this is the last call, if you want to be kept in the loop, you can go on my website, randina.co, and go to either the Divine Effect page. You can read about what the Divine Effect is on there, or go to the programs page, and the drop down will come down, and it's for the 3-part entrepreneurial series, and just put your name and your email address in there. That way that you will get the emails in a sequence. So you'll have the first call, and all of the material that comes with it will be emailed to you. The second call and all the material that comes to it, and then this call and all the material that comes with it, and also a bonus empowerment goddess meditation for you. So if you go to that website, randina.co, go to the Divine Effect page, or go to the programs page and get on that mailing list, that way you can have everything all in one place, and then also that meditation. I am not going to post the meditation in the group because it is only for my VIP clients, but I am sharing it with you, and I do not want that link to get out. So if you can just keep that to yourself, that would be amazing. And that's all that I have as far as processes go. Does anybody else want to add anything else?
I'm good. You, Sin?
I'm good.
We're good.
Okay.
Good. We're great.
So then let's close out. So everyone, just take a deep breath and just really absorb all of the information that you learned in this call, and reconnect to your intention for being here, and survey and see and make sure that you got what you came here for, and feel into that. And then let's express gratitude for the divine, and for the angels, and for our guides, and for all of the ascended masters and energetic beings who are here helping us, even though we can't see them. And I thank every one of you for being here. And I thank you and Sam and Cindy so much for doing this with us. I'm excited to see what comes out of this.
Yes.
So I send you all so much love and light on your journey.
Awesome. All right, guys. Thanks so much for hopping on, and this call is officially wrapped.